Welcome to the PI Podcast, your destination for everything NFL, discussing the latest news and providing in-depth analysis of every NFL game. And now, here are your hosts, Ian and Tesh.
What's up, guys? So it's been a few weeks. I didn't get time to do a podcast or whatever, but been a few weeks. I think week 10 was the last one I did. Week 10 preview. No. Week 10, yeah, I think week 10 preview. So it's been a few weeks, not too many weeks, but 3 weeks. So we're talking about the playoff picture right now and the teams on that playoff picture with 5 weeks to go, and how those teams look with their schedule going forward, and also the scenarios where they don't make the playoffs, scenarios like the Chiefs where they're 6-6 and missed the playoffs, and then talk about all the playoff clinching scenarios, I guess. Really, if we're 5 weeks into the season, we're gonna go over the matchups a little bit. Not really go in depth on the matchups, but we're also going to recap week 13 to start us off. If you guys have any questions or want me to talk about anything specific, do let me know, or about any specific team, go ahead and let me know. But yeah, we're going to go over week 13 real quick because it was a fun week, and it was a really telling week actually, because there's a lot of teams that actually have a chance of losing their division, and teams like the Bears that went up to the number one seed and are currently the number one seed in the NFC. So they could potentially, right now, as of this moment, the Chicago Bears have a first round bye. And I don't think many of us saw that coming. And the Chiefs are 6-6, which a lot of us didn't see that coming either. So credit to Ben Johnson, and the Chiefs need to figure this out now. Otherwise, their slim playoff chances are becoming even slimmer every week they lose. And also the team that beat them, the Cowboys, their playoff chances are slim too. They just got to keep winning as well. So, but that offense is possible, but they just keep winning. And teams like the Ravens, who just lost to the Bengals with Joe Burrow's return, they're a top division because the Steelers fell, and we'll talk about the Steelers a little bit. And a lot of people want to fire Mike Tomlin and all the issues with that team, and things that a lot of people probably expected. And then that Eagles loss to the Bears, we'll talk about that because it was a big Thursday, Friday, because Black Friday and Thanksgiving Friday, Thursday. So yeah, and then we had a big Sunday slate. So let's get right into Thanksgiving games. So Packers Lions was actually a very, very fun game. I mean, I knew this game would be close. I think a lot of people expected it to be a little tighter and more defensive kind of game, but the offenses kind of blew it out of the park a little bit. So Jordan Love was really good. Jordan Love has off and on games, and this was the game early on. He was okay, and then he just went Jordan Love mode, literally. So Jordan Love had 234 yards and 4 touchdowns, and took down the Lions. Jared Goff was 20 or 26. You could say he had a better completion rating and pass rating. 256 yards and 2 touchdowns. Gibbs did not have his best day. The Packers defense really shut down Gibbs a little bit. Jameson Williams got involved because Amon-Ra got injured, unfortunately. So Jameson Williams stepped up as the number one receiver, and he had 144 yards receiving. The next receiver that had a little bit of yards was Tom Kennedy, who had 36 yards receiving. So yeah, definitely not what you would see when the Monroe goes down. So Jameson Williams and the running game is going to be a big part of that Detroit Lion offense, especially if Amon-Ra can't play next week. And then on the ground, Josh Jacobs did what he does. Bully ball, a little bit, had 83 yards on the ground. And Dontavian Wicks had a game. Christian Watson had a big touchdown pass from Jordan Love. And an efficient game from the Packers kind of led the Lions and didn't let Jared Goff really get into a rhythm. Um, you could see with the monitor gone, he didn't. Jared Goff couldn't get anything clicking. Yeah, he had a really good completion percentage, but he took some short checkdowns as well, which was a big part of that. The Lions in their division right now. Obviously, the Chicago Bears are leading their division, but the Packers are 8-3. The Lions are are 8. The Lions are a game behind the Packers right now, and they played the Bears twice, so there's still chance for them. So Bears, Packers, and Lions are winning a game of each other, which is going to be crazy down this 5 game stretch. But the Lions, 7 wins, 5 losses. They're going to have to start winning some games, and it was concerning that the Lions defense did go up a lot of yardage. They cannot keep doing that if they want to win games. Their run game has to obviously go good because the week before, Jimmy Gibbs went for 200 plus yards rushing. So definitely got to get him going and David Montgomery going as well. Um, so Packers do upset the Lions at home. Was a good game plan by LaFleur, and Jordan Love was efficient and won that game. And then we get to the second game of the Thursday tripleheader. Chiefs at Cowboys, which started off looking bad for Dak and Prescott and the Cowboys. Dak threw a pick early, and Rashee Rice scored on within 2 plays for the Chiefs on a screen pass. So the Chiefs went up early 7-0, but then the Cowboys, Dak Prescott was poised. He was dealing. Dak Prescott had a really good game. So did Mahomes. Mahomes played really good as well. He willed his team to almost winning the game. Dak had 320 yards passing. CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens went off as again. CeeDee Lamb had 112 yards and a touchdown. The thing about this, the Chiefs' defense could not stop the Dallas offense. Like whatever they did, CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens had a field day with them. Whenever they needed to stop, they could not get it because CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens would always be there to get a big first down. And on the offensive side for the Chiefs, Mahomes early on he got his team tied early. It was 14-14 by the end of the first quarter, and they stalled until the end of the third, fourth quarter ish. So their offense that was looking good, that looked like they were going to keep up with the Cowboys. They really didn't keep up with them until the end of the third quarter. So it was a big momentum switch. Dallas went up in the fourth quarter, and the Chiefs had to come crawling back. And Mahomes made an amazing play, amazing throw to Xavier Worthy. He broke 2 sacks, literally jumped over them and threw it across body to Xavier Worthy, who was wide open, which led to a touchdown drive. But unfortunately, they weren't able to get the stop on Dak Prescott. Otherwise, it would have been a more interesting game. But Chiefs once again fall to the Cowboys. They're now 6-6. Obviously, they're behind the Broncos and the Chargers now. Yeah, they're 4 games behind Denver, and with 5 games left, the Kansas City Chiefs most likely will not win the division for the first time in 10 years. So that is huge. So the way Mahomes, the Chiefs have to win out basically, and their schedule, Chiefs schedule. Let me pull that up real quick. It's Chiefs schedule. They had some games that they definitely are favored towards winning, like Titans and Raiders, but some other games are going to be huge, like the game coming up this Sunday night against the Texans. That's a huge game for them. Chargers the week after, and then on Christmas night, Broncos at the Chiefs, and probably the biggest game of the season for the Chiefs. It depends. If they lose one game, I don't think they're making a playoffs just because of how many losses the wild card spots have in the AFC. If you look at the AFC playoff picture, the four leading division leaders. Um, Patriots, Broncos, they have 2 losses. Jaguars have 4 losses, and Ravens have 6. So the AFC South and the AFC North open. They're open. They can switch whenever. I think Texans are gonna end up winning that game, winning the South. So just gotta be careful about that. Um, and then Chargers, Colts, and Bills have the last 3 spots in the wild card spot. So the Chargers have 4 losses, Colts have 4 losses, and Bills have 4 losses. Now the Colts have a really really tough schedule. Um, that is Chiefs' way into the playoffs. It's the Colts play Jaguars, Seahawks, Niners, Jaguars again, and the Texans. So none of those are easy. They're going to be a very important game for the Colts. And if Jaguars sweep the Colts, the Chiefs, if they win out, they have a way in. Unlikely. I really think they're going to lose a game. They could potentially win out. Chiefs could. But I think they will lose to the Texans, Chargers, or Broncos. They're going to lose one of those games. Potentially even 2 of those games. I could see them losing. And I think they'll take care of business against the Titans and the Raiders. But it all comes down to the Colts, really. Chargers don't have as uh, as easy a schedule either. The last 5 games are against the Eagles on Monday night, Chiefs, Cowboys, Texans, and Broncos. Yeah, their schedule isn't easy either. So the Chiefs are gonna be looking at the Chargers, Colts, and the Bills, of course. But uh, anything could change within these 5 weeks. There's 5 weeks left. The Patriots do play the Bills again, so there is a chance that the Bills could get their spot back, but the Bills would have to win out to win their division. And it's gonna be tough. They play the Joe Burrow Bengals. They play the Patriots again, which I could see them winning. The Browns, the Eagles, and Jets. Very winnable games. One's in division against the Red Hot Patriots, and then against the Eagles. So the problem is the Patriots' schedule is not as hard as that one. They played a they have a bye week this week, which is actually kudos to them. They really don't have the injury bug this year, and that bye week just helps them even more because they get an extra week to prepare for the Bills in a really important game for that division. But then they play the Ravens, Jets, and Dolphins. So kind of like the Bills have the Browns and Jets, 2 games out of those 5 that they can definitely win. The Patriots have the Jets and Dolphins that could easily win. It's gonna come down to that Ravens game. For the Patriots, if they can beat the Ravens, I'm pretty sure they're gonna clinch the division just by having the Jets and the Dolphins in their schedule. So if the Patriots can beat the Bills, or at least the Patriots, even if they lose to the Bills, if they beat the Patriots and beat the Jets and Dolphins, I'm pretty sure they can secure that division because after those 2 weeks, the Bills play the Eagles and then the Jets. So it's gonna be hearsay, but they really do need that Bills game to secure it. Like I said, they could secure it with a loss, but they're gonna try to secure it. No, against the Bills, because they would have the tiebreaker of the Bills, and even if they beat the Bills and lose to the Ravens, they have the tiebreaker, and the last 2 games are against the Jets and Dolphins, which the Patriots will obviously be favored. But let's get back to the Week 13 recap. Bengals did play the Ravens on Sunday night. Ravens look all out of sorts. Lamar is inaccurate as hell right now. He missed so many wide open guys during that game. It was frustrating to watch. I bet it was frustrating for Ravens fans as well. But Joe Burrow is back, and that Bengals defense was like they've been taking a step up these last few weeks, like almost beating Drake May and the Patriots, and then like they're going into Buffalo. But Joe Burrow, you know who Joe Burrow is. I bet you guys know Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow. You definitely win that game. So the Bengals are kind of looking in a good shape right now. They're 2 losses, 2 games behind the Ravens and the Steelers. But they do play the Steelers and they play the Ravens again. So it's definitely not over yet for the Bengals. So obviously the Bengals would have to win out. But the Ravens, their schedule for these last 5 games, they play the Ravens, play the Steelers, they play the Bengals, they play the Patriots, they play the Packers and Steelers. The Ravens do not have an easy schedule, um, which is favorable for the Bengals because the Bengals they play the Ravens and Steelers these last 5 weeks and the Bills, and they also have the Dolphins, Cardinals, and Browns on their schedule. So look, Joe Burrow could is could easily be the Dolphins, Cardinals, and Browns. All right, let's just get that out of the way. Bengals can probably win those 3. They can easily win again their division again against the Ravens if they play like the way they did on Thursday night. And the Bills, you can get pressure on Josh Allen this year. I know he didn't take a sack last week against the Steelers with TJ Watt and everybody. They played a really good game, but I don't know how long Trey Hendrickson is out. But if Trey Hendrickson can be back for that Bills game, that would be a huge help towards their defense. The young guys on the Bengals defense played really good against Lamar and the Ravens. Kind of forced Lamar into weird throws that he would never have made. Um, yeah, he's okay. Well, Trey Anderson's down for week 14, so he's probably going to miss week 14 against the Bills. But yeah, the Bengals have a shot at the playoffs, and I don't think any AFC teams want Joe Burrow to play against them because there's some teams already that I know if Joe Burrow got in the playoffs, that he'd beat. Like the Jaguars, he'd beat the Jaguars easily. He'd beat the Colts. Um, I'm pretty sure he could beat the Ravens again. He could beat the Chargers. It's just no one wants to see Joe Burrow in the playoffs again, and it's gonna be an interesting 5 weeks. That's why I'll go over these scenarios more in a minute. But yeah, crazy. And on Friday we had a Black Friday game, which was a huge game for the Eagles and the Bears because whoever won that was the number 1 seed in the NFC, and the Eagles are all out of sorts right now. Jalen Hurts did not look good. That offense has not been looking good. Um, Jalen Hurts did what he could. He did get AJ Brown involved, which was nice to see. AJ Brown had 2 touchdowns, 132 yards. The Bears never really pulled away from the Eagles, which allowed them to come back into it. But their defense was all over Jalen Hurts, who got an interception off of Hurts as well. Hurts threw a bad ball to the outside. Um, and then Caleb had a bad pick as well on a screen pass. Caleb did not have the most accurate day passing the football. He only had 154 yards on 36 attempts, and had a quarterback rating of 56 and a completion percentage of 47. So Caleb did not have his best day, but their defense and offense, the run game was amazing for the Bears. Kamanunga and DeAndre Swift, they both got a touchdown. They both had over 120 yards rushing. I mean, when you have that kind of day running the football, I mean, it's going to be hard for anyone to win that game. And the Eagles, as stout as their defense we know they can be, they allowed over 200 yards rushing in a game. So crazy, crazy, crazy. The Bears ran the ball really well. Credit to Ben Johnson. Ben Johnson's been absolute dog in coaching that Chicago Bears team. He's fixed the O-line problem. He's got the defense playing a little better. He's got Caleb playing better, developing him, making it easier for him to get the ball out of his hands. Just credit to Ben Johnson. They're number one seed in the NFC. We're going to talk about the last 5 weeks of schedule and if they can maintain the number 1 seed in a second. But I just wanted to go over that real quick. And Sunday slate, I'll kind of focus on the main games. Mostly I'll go over all the games, of course, a little bit, but I'll focus on the big ones. If you guys have any questions, definitely go in the comment down below. If you want me to talk about anything specific at all, do let me know as well. But Rams and Panthers was a shootout, and somehow Bryce Young and the Panthers found a way. So credit to them. Bryce Young probably had one of his better games of the season. He's been off and on. He had 200 yards passing, and three touchdown. Excuse me, 3 touchdown passes. Chuba Herbert ran the ball well. He also had 41 receiving yards and a touchdown. He got a touchdown off a big play. Off a screen pass, too. That was a huge play. Momentum shifter for the Panthers. Stafford did not have his best game. As good as the offense been, they were still moving it down the field. As good as the Panthers played on Sunday, the Rams looked like the Rams moving it down the field. It was just their turnovers that killed them. Oh, yeah. All right, my bad. Sorry about that, guys. If you guys do have any questions, do let me know. Or if you want me to talk about anything specific, do let me know in the comment section. And if you are new, welcome. I tried to do a podcast and preview podcast and reactor podcast Tuesdays and Saturdays. So definitely, if you guys are football fans, definitely check out our previous podcast and some of our videos. But let's get back to it. The Rams, Matthew Stafford threw 2 interceptions, had a basically game-sealing fumble for the Panthers in the fourth quarter. Uncharacteristic of Matthew Stafford to do that. But credit to the Panthers defense. They played him. They got some turnovers that swung the momentum their way, and their offense was able to score points. And that's what you have to do against the Rams. Matthew Stafford is, I still think, is the MVP favorite. I know the odds are Drake May right now, but I still think Matthew Stafford is the MVP at the NFL, and he'll prove it next week. But the Panthers are in a weird spot. They play the Bucks twice. If they want to win that division, they're a game behind. No, they're tied. No, they have the same amount of wins as the Bucks. If I'm not wrong. Yeah, they both have 7 wins. They're one technically. They haven't had a. Yeah, 7 Bucks are 7-5. Panthers are 7-6. So they have Tampa Bay plays Carolina, and Carolina plays Tampa Bay twice. They both play each other twice, which are going to be deciding factors for the NFC South, which is huge for them. And this one was massive because the Panthers played the Bucks twice, but they also play Seattle. They also have a tough end of schedule as well. I'll talk about that in a little bit. But Panthers are in a good spot right now. They played the Bucks twice. If they want to win that division, this was a step that way. The 49ers beat the Browns, of course. Shedeur Sanders, second start, did not have the greatest second start, of course, but he is a rookie. I don't think we expect too much out of him. I don't think we even expected Shedeur to even win this game. But the 49ers came out to play, and they did. And Brock Purdy played good. Obviously, did his thing. He only had 160 yards passing, but they got it done. Christian McCaffrey had a touchdown. Christian McCaffrey's it's third in receptions, which is insane. And he's top 10. Tim, how's it going, dude? How you doing, Tim? And he just is amazing right now. Christian McCaffrey, as we all know, is amazing. I mean, leading in receiving yards as a running back, and like top 10 in receiving yards as a running back, that's insane. And top 3 in receptions as a running back, insane. So that team, the Niners are a good team with as many injuries as they have. It's actually insane how well they're doing playing football games. So credit to them, credit to Kyle Shanahan. Of course, he's a really good coach. I know some people don't like him, but I think he's a really good coach and makes it easier for them to win games. And let's see if they can get healthy after the bye week. Next up, we got a big game. How you doing, Tim? I bet you're happy over that win on Sunday. I just talked about it a little bit, but yeah, dude, three turnovers on Matthew Stafford, including a game-sealing one fumble. Crazy. Texans at the Colts. Going into it, it kind of got the news came out that Daniel Jones had a fracture in his knee, or well, fracture in his tibia, whatever. So like, and that sounds bad, but going to it, like looking at videos and stuff like that, it's actually like a small little thing, like that shouldn't affect him. But in the videos I saw, it did not look like he could move as well as he wanted. And he moved okay. He moved okay in his game. I mean, it wasn't vintage Daniel Jones movement, but it was okay enough for them to have a shot in this game. But the Texans defense, the reason why I think they will win the AFC South is because of that defense. And they did not let Daniel Jones complete whatever he wanted across the field. They really did not let Michael Pittman get going at all. Pittman only had one catch for 13 yards. And Daniel Jones had 2 touchdowns. His main receiver is Alec Pierce. Yeah, I'm doing good. Thanks. Appreciate you for asking, Tim. Yeah, I bet you're really happy about your Panthers, dude. So congrats to you. I hope you guys beat the Bucks a little bit. So there you go. I say nice things about the Panthers sometimes. But anyways, C.J. Stroud was back from his concussion and threw for 276 yards. Woody Marks got going after getting injured. Nico Collins, it was himself. The Texas defense really dominated this game and did not let Colts get going offensively, which was a big factor. They did not let JT get going either. He had 21 rushes for 85 yards. So they really did not allow any really big explosive plays for Jonathan Taylor. They allowed explosive plays for Alec Pierce, which Alec Pierce is an amazing receiver. I mean, I really like him, and I'm glad that the Colts are able to use him as much as they have been because he is a deep threat receiver, and that touchdown catch was awesome. Yeah, next up we got the Saints and Dolphins, which was a closer game as well. Tyler Shough put up a fight against the Dolphins at home in Miami, and unfortunately they kind of stalled out towards the end. Otherwise, they could have had a chance to win this game. But the Dolphins on a 2-point conversion picked it off for a pick 2, so they got 2 extra points off of it. Otherwise, it would have been a tie game. So that ended up winning in the game for the Dolphins. So Dolphins technically are still not out of it, but I do not see them. I just feel like this is kind of these wins are coming at a late point in the season where it might save Mike McDaniel's job, but I don't know if it should. Look, it's hard. It's hard when your team is winning games to fire a coach, but there's some times where if you let how the team's doing at the end of the year, even if they're not a chance at the playoffs, if that lets you just have a thought about what you want to do in the future with your football team, you got to be careful because what if we see this again next season? I mean, there's always the thought of that. Next up, we got the Falcons at the Jets. I don't know what to say. It was just another embarrassing loss for the Falcons. I just don't know how to say it. I mean, it was an embarrassing loss. I really don't know how Raheem Morris is not fired after this game. I just don't understand. Raheem Morris is on a thread right now. If he wasn't already on a thread, he's on one now, and I hope Arthur Blank fires him tomorrow. Oh yeah, I appreciate it, Deadpool. Appreciate it, dude. I just don't understand how we haven't fired. I'm a Falcons fan, if you guys didn't know. But I just don't know how you don't fire Raheem Morris, don't fire Zach Robinson, especially. I mean, look, Arthur Blank is an owner that will wait to fire somebody, but this has gotten to a point where you're losing to the New York Jets and Tyrod Taylor, and like to New York. Let me say that again: the 2-9 New York Jets. You're losing to a 2-win team and allowing them to get 27 points in a game. Like that is absolutely ridiculous. Bijan was having an incredible day. Should have been an easy win for us, but no. I mean, I guess we didn't want to do that. The coaching staff needs to go. Honestly, the coaching staff needs to go. It should have been done a long time ago. I don't know why it still hasn't been done. This is just embarrassing. We're gonna lose to the Seahawks next week, so hopefully he gets fired after that. Um, I just don't know what's the holdup in not firing them. We need to find a better coach. It's obviously the coaching. These one-score games are crazy. We have not been good all year. We should have beat the Colts. We should have beat the Patriots. Like everything that we could do to lose the game, we do. Like losing the game by a field goal, losing the game because we can't tackle Daniel Jones on the third and forever. Um, Making an extra point to tie the game against the Patriots. Can't do that. There's so many things wrong with this team, and it comes down to coaching. And if coaching isn't gone, this team's not going to go anywhere. Obviously, our season is over. I do not know why you just don't fire them. This team needs change, and I could go on with that for a while. It's just frustrating at this point because all these one-score games, like they could be, if we had better coaching, they could be wins instead of losses. I just don't get it. Next up, we had a good one in Tampa Bay. Buccaneers played the Cardinals, and Jacoby Brissett has been hot on the football. Mellos, how's it going, dude? How you doing, Mellos? Hope you're doing well. Um, can you, I I don't know if you're trying to bait me. But is that someone's name or something? Uh, Whatever. Buccaneers did end up winning this game. Jacoby Brissett, um, it has been on a hot streak. Has been getting this offense going. Unfortunately, Marvin Harrison came back, and he got injured again. So, it's been a rough couple years for Marvin Harrison. It looked like he was taking a step forward this year. Um, that's unfortunate for him. He's a really good player, and I know he can be a really good player. So I think they should keep Kyler. I just think off of emotion they kept Jacoby Brissett because that offense was clicking with him. But I still think Kyler's the answer. Even if they get rid of him, I still think Kyler would have been fine there. I still think Kyler's a hell of a player. And the Cardinals did almost win this game. They just couldn't stop Baker at that offense. Um, yeah. And next up, we got the Jags and Titans. Jags blew out the Titans. They just played sound football and took down the opponent they needed to beat. And are now sitting up top in the AFC South as of now. They do still have 2 games against Colts. So easily could go down. Next up, we had Vikings and the Seahawks. Seahawks completely dominated Vikings. Like, Max Brosmer, the rookie, did not have any time in the pocket. I mean, and like it was just he also threw 4 picks and the first pick was dumb. Like the first pick, he pulled a Marcus Mariota. I don't know if you guys remember that Thursday night football game. Falcons played the Panthers, and Marcus Mariota was the quarterback at the time a few years ago. Where he literally was getting sacked and just threw it up in the air while spinning down upside down. Unfortunately, I was at that game. So no, I was not at that game. I was at a different game. But ridiculous that he even threw that ball. But Max Brosmer did the same exact thing, and the Vikings could not do anything. That rookie quarterback couldn't get anything going. Justin Jefferson only had, I'm pretty sure he only had like 2 yards. That's what I saw. Yeah, he only had 2 receptions for 4 yards. Like, if that isn't crazy, I don't know what is. JSN did not have obviously outstanding game he had, but they won. Seattle's defense caused hell for the Vikings and shut them out. Next up, the Chargers and the Raiders. Obviously, Chargers blew out the Raiders. That football team needs to change. Geno Smith, they're going to be asking questions about him next season as well. So we'll see what they do. They need offensive line help. They need defensive help. They need a lot of help on that team. And Pete Carroll has to find a way to hit on a draft class and get some free agents coming next year. Then he got Bills at the Steelers. And it was a real kind of a defensive game up until Josh Allen and that team kind of took it away. Aaron Rodgers did hurt his hand. It did get hurt again, so he was out for a little bit after halftime. Mason Rudolph came in for a little bit, but the Bills came in and ran the ball and ran over 200 plus rushing yards against the Steelers, which was the first time in Pittsburgh since forever. Like James Cook had 144 yards on 32 carries. Where did that set? Like the Steelers have not allowed a 200 plus yards rushing in a game in a while, in a good while. Yeah, the offense couldn't get going for the Steelers at all, which is a concern. You brought DK Metcalf in to kind of help that offense, and I know Pickens went out of there, so there wasn't really an option. But Pickens probably would have helped his team right now, and offensively. The Bills get a much needed win to stay alive, to stay not alive, but to stay alive for the division, of course. So much needed win for the Bills. Then we got really good, like one of the best games of Sunday, which was Broncos at Commanders. Marcus Mariota played like his life depended on it, and that was awesome to see. The Commanders really, really put it to the Broncos and was doing everything they can to win that game. Unfortunately, in the last seconds, of course, unfortunately, on a 2-point conversion, Marcus Mariota could not get it over defender Nick Bonito, batted it down to give the Broncos the win in overtime. 27-26. The Commanders almost upset the Broncos. That was a fun game. And then Monday night, it was special teams disaster for the Giants. I mean, Njoku couldn't kick a ball that was right on the ground. He missed it. Their special teams was awful in coverage. Allowed a 94-yard touchdown. They just allowed big punt returns all game, which ended up getting them down behind a lot. It ended up being a 2-position game at one point, but their defense just couldn't stop Drake May, who was looking amazing. Drake May had 283 yards and 2 touchdowns. He is the leading passer in the NFL, and he does not have a 300-yard passing game yet, which is crazy in itself. Trayvon Henderson had 67 yards, leading rusher, of course. He's going to be doing that moving on. Hunter Henry was the leading receiver with 70 yards. It was overall a blowout from the Patriots. They never really sweated a little bit. So, credit to them. All right. But enough of that. The playoff picture is here. I didn't talk about that a little bit. The Bears are number 1 seed. Let's go over the AFC first because I think that's gonna be a lot of fun. All right, let's do this. Got the division standings up. Patriots. I said they need to win at least 2 or 3 games and they can clinch the division. The AFC, but they're gonna still be playing though for the number 1 seed, and the Broncos are right behind them. So there's gonna be an interesting battle for the number 1 seed, especially. And then behind that, I really think it's gonna be Patriots and Broncos gonna fight for the number 1 seed, and I think it's gonna end up being the Broncos though who end up getting the number 1 seed. I think their defense is far superior than the Patriots. And I think, and Drake May obviously is having an amazing season. That he's completing the ball at a high rate right now. It's actually insane. His completion percentage off the charts. But it's gonna be a tough road for them and the Broncos to get that number 1 seed. But if we're looking at division standings, Jaguars are 8-4, Colts are 8-4. 2 big games for the Jags and the Colts. And obviously, if they split, the Texans are sitting behind them, waiting for the chance to take that spot back. So let's see the Jags rest schedule. Jags schedule. If you guys do have anything you want me talking about, do let me know. Uh, but I'm just going on supply of stuff. Yeah, the Jags play the Colts twice, the Broncos, the Titans, and Jets. So 2 games they're going to be favored in, which is the Jets and Titans. They're not going to be favored against the Colts or the Broncos. Uh, if they beat the Colts the first time, they might be favored in the second game, but I don't think right now they're favored. Um, but they have 2 important games against the Colts. I see them beating the Jets, of course. That's at home. The 2 straight home games against the Colts and Jets. Then they go on the road for Broncos and Colts, and then they end the season off against the Titans. And then the Colts, on the other hand, they have a tough schedule at the end of the year. I've seen them play the Jaguars twice, as we know, Seahawks, Niners, and Texans in between. So there's a chance the Colts do stumble, which I believe is going to happen. They're going to lose some games here. But then the Texans have to win a lot of these games. They have to win 4, I'd say 4 out of the 5, and I think they can win the division. But they play the Chiefs, which have been beatable, so, and I have them winning that game, of course. A little spoiler for my game previews, but I have the Texans beating the Chiefs on Sunday Night Football. It is an important game, though, for the Chiefs, so never count Mahomes out. But then they play the Cardinals and the Raiders, which I think they're going to be both of them. Then they play the Chargers, which could be a big game, but that is a winnable game too, especially if that pass rush can get to Herbert with all the injuries on the offensive line. They could definitely win that. And then they play the Colts again, who they already beat. Might be a big that game might be for the division depending on how many games the Jags win. That Colts Texans game, like last year, is going to be very important. I think the Texans can win. It's going to be these last 5 weeks are going to be so fun, guys. If you guys want serious, like if you want like football weather, football like I don't know what to call it, like football like meaningful football, these last 5 weeks are gonna be insane. Yeah, right now the Chiefs, Steelers, and Texans are looking in. I do not have faith in the Steelers. I think they just crumbled their shot at winning division based off these losses. Because their schedule right now, they play the Lions, the Ravens twice, the Dolphins, and the Browns. Obviously, Dolphins and Browns they can win, but even if they split against the Ravens, that's 3 wins right there. That's 9 wins. It depends what the Joe Burrow does, of course. It's not looking good for the Steelers right now. How they crumbled a little bit, and that's a good talking point because the Steelers are in a dilemma right now. There's fire Tomlin chants all over, because of course he's had like 18 straight winning seasons, which is amazing, but they keep getting one and done in the playoffs, and eventually at a point when it's just winning in a regular season, not enough, not enough. So I mean, you can't keep going one and done in the playoffs. It's like eventually you'd have to go and think Mike Tomlin might be fired. There's a good chance of it this year, especially if they fall to a negative record. There is a scenario where Mike Tomlin does get fired, and it'd be the first coaching change for the Steelers in almost 2 decades. So crazy to think about, but that's where the Steelers are heading right now. Aaron Rodgers is hurt. He's also not playing his best football, of course, but his receivers aren't helping him. His team isn't helping him. To not get a sack on Josh Allen is kind of going on a factor of Cameron Hayward and TJ Watt. They should be able to step up and make plays. Cameron Hayward has been complaining all year for random stuff, so I think they just get Cameron Hayward, especially. I'm not saying Steelers, but Cameron Hayward, especially. He gets hurt in a loss, so he kind of needs to step it down a little bit. I mean, that attitude is not going to get you anywhere, and you're 6-6 now, so you can't have that attitude. Can't be whining anymore. But the Steelers are in shambles. I I highly doubt they win the division. Because if they play better football, and I will see them play better football, they definitely can. But I just don't see it. I think it's all for the Ravens to win that division. As much as I would like to see the Bengals win that division, they have to win out. It's basically what it is. The Bengals have to win out. They play the Ravens one more time, and if they lose that game, it's over for the Bengals. So Bengals schedule. Yeah, they play the Bills, the Ravens, and then they have 3 winnable games. So let's see if they get past the Bills and the Ravens. In real life scenario, I kind of still have to lean towards the Bills in that Bengals Bills game, just because if they can protect Josh Allen, they're gonna win that game. If James Cook is gonna go in a running yard rushing game, they're gonna win that game. I think the Bengals can beat the Ravens again, so credit them. And then the Dolphins, Cardinals, Browns, they can go 3-0 in that stretch. The only problem is they cannot lose a game. So these next 2 games for the Bengals will decide their season. So that'll be interesting to look forward to if the Bengals can make the playoffs. Interesting AFC side that I went over. You guys have any thoughts about that, or who you think's gonna make the playoffs, or who you think's not gonna make the playoffs, or who's gonna win the division? Let me know. Because right now, the AFC South, the AFC North, 2 divisions that are up in the air right now. And I can't, and maybe the AFC East just because they're only 2 games behind. Bills are only 2 games behind the Patriots, and they play them. But going over the NFC side, the Bears and Rams are tied at 9-3. The Bears do get the 1 seed because the Rams did lose to the Eagles, and the Bears beat the Eagles, so that caused that to happen. The Eagles dropped down to 3 seed. They're still first in the NFC East. But Dallas is creeping up. Philly is 2 games ahead of Dallas, and the Eagles play. The Eagles play the Chargers. They could be the Raiders. Then they play Commanders. They play the Commanders. They have an easier schedule than said, so they could easily win the division based on this how they. If Jane Daniel comes back for the 2 Commanders game, then anything's possible. But then they have the Chargers, Bills, and Eagles. So very important games. Raiders they could easily win, of course. And then Dallas on the other side. The last 5 games against the Lions, the Vikings, the Chargers, Commanders, and the Giants. So if they can beat the Lions and the Chargers, I feel like they can win out. But at the same time, I feel like the Eagles are in kind of a strut. They might drop a couple more, which I could see. They could drop a game to the Eagles, to the Bills, and they could drop that Chargers game on Monday night. So it's going to be interesting in that division as well. And then the Bucks are fighting with the Panthers right now. That's going to be a close division as well. The Rams, I feel like they will win that division, but they are in a tight battle with Seattle. And they do play each other on Thursday Night Football in a few weeks, so that is going to be an ever important game. Yeah, the Rams play Cardinals, Lions, Seahawks, Rams, and Cardinals. So very, very important games for the Rams. Try to get that 1 seed and to win that division. The Seahawks played the Falcons, the Colts, the Rams, Seahawks, the Panthers, and the Niners. So not an easy schedule for the Seahawks. Like I said, these last 5 games are going to be really good football. These teams are going to try to fight for the division. Right now, Rams and Seahawks are tied for division, and San Francisco just got its 9th win. So, yeah, I mean it's a three-way tie basically. San Francisco has 1 more loss, so I don't think Niners had their bye yet though. Niners schedule. Yeah, they're Niners buyers this week, so Then they play the Titans, the Bears, Seahawks, and Colts. Interesting. The NFC West is up in the air too. There's three teams that are fighting for that division. That's actually insane. Obviously, Tampa Bay and Carolina is fighting for the division. Um, Chicago and Green Bay are fighting for the division. Chicago, that's the number one seed, played Green Bay twice, so it's not going to be easy going for the Bears either to win the one seed and the division. But in between, they play the Browns, Niners, and Lions. Um, Browns, they could win. Niners and Lions are going to be tough as well. So Bears have kind of a tough end of schedule. And the Packers schedule, obviously, two with the Bears. And then they play the Broncos, Ravens, and Vikings. So really, really tough schedules for these teams at the end of the year. So it's going to come up to that for that division. And the Lions could come sneaking in as well. So there's potentially three teams in that division too. So the NFC is not as easy as it's going to be. It's going to be very competitive. Right now, in the wildcard spots, Seahawks, Packers, and Niners are in those three slots. So I feel like we're going to have three teams in the either the NFC West or the NFC North, but I'm leaning towards the NFC West. It's going to have three teams in the playoffs and then two teams in the NFC North, and then one team in those other two. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah. So, if you guys want to ask me any questions or anything, that was a playoff picture right as of right now. If you guys would like to talk about your specific team, your favorite team, or my thoughts on your favorite team, definitely do let me know. But if you guys enjoyed the podcast, definitely hit that subscribe button. I do try to go live every Tuesday night and Saturday night, going over the week games and previewing the next week on Saturday. So I'll give my game picks on Saturday, but right now I will give my game pick for Thursday Night Football, of course, which is Dallas at the Lions. One sec. On schedule. Yeah. Cowboys at the Lions. It's going to be in Detroit, so that's going to be an interesting game. That is such an interesting game because the Lions can pop up whenever they want. I just think right now the Cowboys defense got some people back from injury. Their pass rush is getting going. They can stop the run game very easily, and that does not bode well for Jahmyr Gibbs and Dave Montgomery, especially if Amon-Ra's out again. J-Mo's gonna have to step up, and if Dallas can stop that run game for the Lions, is gonna put Jared Goff in kind of a decision-making mode. And that offense is just out of this world for the Cowboys. Dak's playing at a high level. I'm gonna have to go with the Cowboys here. I think it's kind of, it might be a shootout. It could potentially be a shootout. I think the Cowboys are gonna win 35-30. 35-32. I like that number better. But yeah, I got the Cowboys winning that game. And that's all I have for tonight. Unless any of you guys would like me to talk about your team or your thoughts on anything, definitely let me know. But yeah, I appreciate everyone coming in. If you were new to the channel and did enjoy it, go check out our previous podcast. There'll be big news soon. I'll lean into that a little bit, but I do plan on doing a few more podcasts on this channel before I may transition to another channel. So I appreciate you guys again. Tim, thank you again. Deadpool, appreciate you, dude. Appreciate all of you who were in this stream and sat down and listened and enjoyed football. Also, don't forget Hard Knocks in season with the NFC East. Is the first episode dropped on HBO Max, so if you guys like Hard Knocks, go check that out on HBO Max. That's not a sponsor from HBO Max because I don't have any sponsors. Actually, maybe Ticketmaster, but HBO Max, I would love to get a sponsor from them. So yeah, that'd be cool. But yeah, anyways, thank you guys for watching again. Enjoy the outro. I have a special well, not special outro. It's a normal outro. But if you guys are new to the channel, there's the outro. Short one, but I appreciate you guys again. And I will see you guys on Saturday. We'll be I'll be giving my game picks for Sunday football in important Week 14 football game. Important Week 14 of the NFL. All right, peace. Appreciate you guys.
Thank you for watching the PI Podcast. Make sure you subscribe and tune in next time so you don't miss the latest news in the NFL world. You can also follow us on TikTok at PI Podcast and on Twitter at PI Podcasters. Until next time.